So one great way to help users get started with the plugin is showing them a welcome or introduction screen. And we can add one when the plugin is activated, which is one of the good times to help people get started with the plugin. You can see an example on Beaver Builder. Here I've activated it, and now I'm seeing this page builder settings, a little welcome screen, a little image showing me what new functionality is being added by this plugin. So let's do the same with our plugin. I'm going to add a new file for the welcome screen and include that in the plugin. So first I have to create a page for us to show. And one way we can do that is using a dashboard page. So I create a little function, say HWY welcome screen page. And in it, I use the add dashboard page. I'll just put welcome as the page title, welcome as the menu title. Just need the ability to read. For this menu slug, I'll just call it HWY plugin welcome. And then the name of our function, which will actually show the page, and we'll call that HWY display welcome page. Bit of a long function, but you can see here, this will then add the page, and we need to call this function on the admin menu hook. So I'll do admin menu and then the name of our function with add action. Now we actually need to make this function, which will actually display the page. So let's do that here. Function HWY display welcome page. And we could do what we've done before and include some HTML right in here. But instead, let's create a template file and load that in. It just separates our page template out of this function. So first I'll create a new template, name that welcome page. A little boilerplate HTML. You can expand on this for what your plugin does. Then here I will include it with this. Since this templates folder is underneath includes, which we're in now in this welcome screen file. So even though we haven't added any kind of redirect when the plugin is activated, we can see this in action by manually copying this unique menu slug, hit into our site. Our page will be added at index.php in the admin, and then page equals that slug. And there it is. And we can actually see that it's being added underneath the dashboard, which we don't need. We don't need this to be accessible all the time. We just want to show it when it's redirected. So let's remove it from this dashboard. Creating one more function, HWY remove welcome page menu. Then calling the remove submenu page function to actually get rid of it from index.php with the menu slug that we defined up here in the add dashboard page. And we need to call this remove submenu page after it's been added. And one action we could do that on is the admin head action. So again, with add action, we call the name of the hook that we want to use, and then the name of our function, which is here. So let's see if that worked. Sure enough, it did. So our page still loads when we go to index.php, and then page equals our menu slug. But now it's not showing up under the dashboard and confusing and adding clutter for the user. So now we want this page to show when, say, we activate our plugin. So when I click activate, I want it to not only activate our plugin, but also redirect to this welcome page. So let's create a function, HWY welcome page redirect. So one way we could do this redirect is using the activated plugin action, which is called when a plugin is activated. Pass in the name of our function, and this accepts a parameter of the plugin that was actually activated. We can't use the register activation hook that we've used a couple times because we try to do the redirect within that function to our welcome page, we'll get an error. It's kind of firing at the wrong time. Now we just need to see if this plugin variable is equal to our plugin folder / the name of our plugin. If it does, we can do a WP safe redirect, and we need to go to that index.php question mark page equals HWY plugin welcome, which we typed in manually in the browser before. And now here we also need to add a die to stop any additional code from running so this redirect can happen as it should. Actually, I missed an O here. So let's see if this works. And there's a couple tweaks that we can make. There it is. So I've activated the plugin and it redirects us over to index.php. So great, it works. It activated the plugin and redirected us over to our welcome screen. So while this works, there's a couple issues with it. One, if someone activates multiple plugins using this checkbox and then under bulk actions clicking activate, then hitting apply, this could cause issues because we're going to essentially see that our plugin was activated and then redirect potentially before other plugins are activated and they've done what they need to do on activation. So we don't want to interfere with that. And also, though we haven't talked about it much in this course, this is a WordPress multi-site, which is a way to have a network of WordPress sites under one WordPress install, and they kind of activate this plugin across the entire network. Again, that could also cause issues if we're doing this redirect when our plugin is activated. So in our function, we can do a quick check to see if this get parameter activate multi is set. And that'll be true if they're trying to activate more than one plugin at the same time. If it is, we just want to return from this function and not do the redirect down here. So let's see if that did the trick. If I deactivate and activate the plugin, still works, goes to our page. But if I deactivate the plugin and then say activate Akismet and our plugin at the same time using this bulk activate, we can see that's still not doing the trick. And that's because of the function we're using here, activated plugin, is not passing in this parameter for us to use. So to handle these edge cases and not cause issues for the users using these functions, we need to do things a little differently. So the first thing we need to do is just create a function, welcome screen activate, that'll be called using that register activation hook that we couldn't use before to do this redirect, but we can use to call a function when the plugin is activated. Use that HWY plugin file constant, which we defined here in our main plugin file as just a location of the main plugin file, and then the name of our function. And in here, all we want to do is set an option in the database or a transient that will check on a later page. So if I do set transient and then do like HWY welcome screen activation redirect, and we'll set this to true and also pass in when it'll expire. So in this case, we can do in 30 seconds, we'll have this expire. So if something happened where the redirect hasn't happened in 30 seconds, we just won't ever do it at all. So now we've got this set. It'll be set when our plugin is activated. And now instead of checking in this activated plugin hook, we'll instead use a min init. And this one is fired when the admin area is initialized in the WordPress backend on every single page load. So once all the plugins are done activating, it'll then refresh and load the admin again, and then our function will be called with this temporary thing set in the database saying that we want to redirect to our page. So first we want to check to see is our transient, which we called up here, HWY welcome screen activation redirect, does it exist? If it doesn't exist, then we're going to exit this function because we don't want to do a redirect if we didn't just activate the plugin and set this transient up here. Now, so that now we're not constantly redirecting to the welcome screen, we just want to do it once. Let's actually delete that transient. So then the next time this is loaded or this function is called, this won't be true anymore and it'll just stop. So all we need to do is call delete transient with the name of our transient. Now we can do the check because this will be a new redirect. This will be true if they've tried to activate more than one plugin at the same time. And if it is, we'll again not redirect to our welcome screen. But if it's not true, and we don't need to do this plugin check anymore because this function is just being called when the admin is being loaded, and we've already done our check that, hey, our plugin was activated and we want to redirect it to our welcome screen. We can also get rid of that plugin variable there because that's not passed in using admin init. Now we can do our redirect and stop executing. So let's see if this still works. I'm going to deactivate this plugin, deactivate our plugin. I'll try activating just the one, and it's redirecting still back to our page. But now if I deactivate this and activate both Akismet and our plugin using the bulk activation, it doesn't redirect because we detected using this check that the user was activating more than one plugin at the same time, and we don't want to disrupt that process. So that's great. We've done our redirect. We have our welcome screen that we can expand on depending on what our plugin does. Give some helpful tips. And that final check, I'm not going to do a full test of this, but all we need to do to detect if this is a network activation and they're using a WordPress multi-site install, where again, we don't want to do a redirect and mess stuff up. If they're activating our plugin across a WordPress multi-site network, this is doing a quick check to see if this is a network admin activation. If it is, or they're activating more than one plugin at the same time, we'll return and not redirect to our welcome screen. So that's it. That's how we, on our plugin activation, are able to show a nice welcome screen to the user and provide some tips and increase the chance so they'll get the most out of our plugin and continue using it.